Namaste, in Lakesh, hello and welcome. Any which way I can greet you. I am so happy that you tune in to this channel at this time. There is this phenomenon I want to talk about. So there's this phenomenon between you and me right now. And I mean you and me and you and me and all of us. Like, there is this connective field that is happening as we connect together. It happens if we are in a group, in a room together, or like this, we're online together right now, right? There is a phenomenon that happens that when all of us come together, there is a common denominator, you could say, something that we share in common. You know how math, the only thing I remember in math ever was this. There could be a common denominator. You have a number, and that's you. The unique number of who you are, and then it's a line, and there we have a common denominator. I love that. And I think it's the only thing I brought with me from all the math classes. So it's very fitting to take that analogy, and it seems like I'm really smart in math, but that's really, my interest has been in that common denominator. What is it that links us all together? And there's this phenomenon, as when we are gathering here live now, there is this common denominator that I call Antaryaman. Antaryaman is a Sanskrit word that means the indweller, the one that dwells within. So simple, huh? So I call it divine because that is my upbringing, that is my truth, that is what I naturally call it. You can call it your supreme consciousness, the higher sacred self. You can call it God. You can call it anything. I actually call it different things depending on what fits in the moment. But the one thing that could describe this presence that we connect into, that we have as common denominator, it is that it is a sacred platform inside us. So in these times when things are changing so much in our world, we feel lost. We feel like, who can I listen to? What is the truth here? What's going on? More than ever, we need to connect into that sacred platform inside us. And the important thing is that we each relate to this part inside in our own way. So, if there are 7 billion people on the planet, there are 7 billion different ways. There's like different channels, like avenues or rivers you can float on. These can be called religions or philosophy paths, or different spiritual masters have shown this. Do this and you'll get to the big ocean of divine, ocean of love, where we are all connected, interconnected, intimately, like the ocean. You've heard the analogy. We are like drops in the ocean, and we're all part of each other. Now this, see, the mind can not understand it intellectually. We can understand it in pictures like that, in images of the ocean and the drops and rivers coming into the ocean, and we can go on a boat, right, on a boat ride in a river, and just like go for a ride, and it's nice. So this is a boat ride for you, but it's more of an airplane, I think, because we're having like freedom and air under our wings as we fly. But at the same time, we have the feet on our ground. So if you would like to experience that kind of groundedness, of feeling connected to the planet, but you feel like you got wings and you can take off. And I want to speak to you about something else then that could be, because everyone probably answered yes to that question, right? It's like, no, I don't want that. I want to live in the gutter. Sometimes we want to have fun, right? We want to fly, but we want to be on the planet. We want to be here and live life. So I think we need to know a few tools, whatever boat ride you're on. You're on this flight right now. And if you want to fly high, then this is a really good teaching you could look into. Let's call it a teaching. I'm hesitating to use that word because teaching as we know it in this world, that means, oh, you have to put your glasses on, you have to study some points, and you have to learn something. That's not the kind of teaching that this is. This is a teaching that came to me from inside 2002, and I live by it since. And I want to share it. And why? Because it helps you to fly. It helps you to meet any resistance that you have. I will have a satsang, an online satsang on this subject, how to meet resistance, this month, May 24, let's say. I told you, numbers is not my strength. But it's somewhere. You'll see it. There, and it's also free. You just click on the link that we shared there and you sign up for it. You will get more processes, guided processes, prayers, blessings, and sacred sounds, energy transfer. So we'll go on a longer journey. This is more a shorter journey here today. But to prepare you for that little longer journey, let's look into this called resistance. So this is what we all carry in life, or we meet it in life situation. Life always seems to bring incidents or situations that brings in us up a resistance. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Right? Do you have that? No. No, you just free flow. Well, most of us have some kind of resistance that will come out when you least expect it. Everything is going fine, and then all of a sudden, no, I don't want to. Right? Do you feel that sometimes? And what do you do with that? See, this is a trick. And this is what's going to make you fly high. When you learn to meet this resistance in you, to not, you have to follow me. Now, if you fall asleep, get back online now. If you can learn to not resist the resistance, it's very intelligent if you can catch it. If some kind of situation is causing you resistance, and if you can at that point, you can maybe see it in the body, you can feel it biologically, that is very good, because that part of that stored emotions, it's in the body. See, our body is like a library, Akashic records, all the cell memories of this life and even past lives, all of these things are in our bodies, and they're stored there. Now, if some incident is causing you a charge, some kind of resistant emotion, like, no, and then if you can allow for that and feel it in the body, maybe the stomach is like, or the cheeks or something is happening in you, well, and enjoy that. Can I say that? Because it is some kind of enjoyment. It's personal, it's private. You know, you don't like go out and tell the world, I'm enjoying this resistance. It's not like that. It's like you experience it, because if you allow yourself to experience the resistance and not resist it, then the mind don't get interfered with it. See, the minute the mind, the mental, the thoughts, the intellect gets involved in it, then the intellect is judging it like a well-trained computer. Our mind is like an artificial intelligence, right? It doesn't know this thing about inside. It just knows intelligence, like, oh, it's not very intelligent to be resisting. Let's not be resistant. Let's remove the resistance as soon as possible. But that's not our truth, is it? If we are resistance, enjoy it, allow it, make it your friend. This was introduced to me 18 years ago, and I live by it, and it's taking me into a rapid, or like a jet airplane ride. Because life is always throwing us situations, new situations that will cause resistance. But as your brain and your mind learn that, you know what, I'm not going to change that. I'm going to be interested. And the mind, at least this is how my mind works, it brings up a magnifying glass. And my mind is Sherlock Holmes. It is so interested in what is going on. So it has like an inner Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass to look at, and it happens so fast that nothing else is time for happening, right? So the charge is there, resistance is there, and the Sherlock Holmes comes, where is the resistance? Where is it? Where is it? It's here. And I learned somehow, I developed this, to learn, to enjoy, to experience it. And if you experience it and not act out of it, because that's, if the mind gets involved, the mind will tell you, why don't you go and do this? And you'll do something that will hurt another or hurt yourself. If that is the outcome, then it's no good. It's not helping you to go into the flow of the jet airplane, right? We want to go there. We want to fly high. You want to? Then you start develop this. It's like an artwork. You can't be a Rembrandt or a Picasso overnight. You have to start somewhere. I worked really hard at it, remember, for 1.5 years. I did this little exercise. We can call it sadhana, and it was an exercise. Nobody else did this. I just bought an egg timer. You know how you boil eggs? You set the egg timer, and you do other things, and then you come back in. So it's the same with these emotions that could come up. This is what I did in the beginning after this presence came in and told me from inside. It was the divine just said, okay, we got to help this girl because she's struggling here. It was some kind of divine intervention that happened February 2002. And so I was given this as a help. It wasn't like God came in and just said, oh, now everything is fine. You know, I have learned that life is not about that. Life is exciting to live. Life is constantly changing from some kind of chaos or resistance to order and flow. And if we, like an airplane, I don't know exactly how airplane works, but I think it has something with aerodynamics and learning how to, to flow with the winds. Like if there is a wind coming, the plane must know I gotta navigate. You gotta learn how to navigate your inner consciousness. So it is the same, especially important. What if the pilot said, well, I'm not gonna care about the resistant winds. I'm only gonna go with the winds that are flowing with me. We would go all over the place and not at all where we needed to go. So we need to learn to meet the resistance as it comes up. There's a win-win when we do it. So the trick to it is do a Vipassana meditation every day. That's your workout place. Like you go to the gym or you have some kind of place in your home where you do your gym, right? Because we need to work. The body needs to work out, needs to move. So our spirit also needs to move. Our spirit needs to fly. And you need to give it this exercise like, okay, is this something I'm resisting? Let's be with that, because a Vipassana meditation is a meditation where you simply don't do anything. You're just with whatever is happening there right now. So we are soon, in a few minutes, going to do a Vipassana meditation. I'll be guiding you into that so you can get the hang of it. See, no matter where you are at in your consciousness, in your awareness, in your connection to your sacred platform inside, if we always learn to be curious and to have that inner Sherlock Holmes with us, what is happening now? We become alive and we are not afraid to meet challenges, to meet resistance that could come in our lives, because that's exciting. It is giving some kind of nourishment to the body if you allow it. It keeps you fresh. It keeps you young. You will see it. And the key here, and which for us, at least in the West, I don't know how it is, in the rest of the world, but at least where I'm brought up, we learn to not be resistant. We learn to be just like this, right? But it's just, I was like that. I was like, I'm the nice person in the family, I'm the one who's going to put it all together for you guys. So and then I wanted to also help the whole world. That was like a little calling I had there from early childhood. So that's a big job. I set up my bench in the living room. I started giving treatments, and I just never said no if people wanted. So my home was like a hospital. Okay, that's where I was when this teaching came in. I just share with you because sometimes we need to go the hard way before we are open to surrender. We speak about that sometime, right? And when does that come? It comes when we have just tried every other avenue. So my life was just struggle and hardship. And I tried to do everything, save the world and trying to help myself be a happy person. And I'm just not happy. Because I'm trying to fly this airplane, my spiritual airplane, where things are smooth. It's just that life is not always in a timeline where things are going smooth in our lives. So, collectively right now, we are going into a timeline where we need to learn this, meet resistance, because it will bring you relaxation. The body will be free of the resistance to the resistance. See, the resistance itself is only some kind of joy. It sounds strange, but if you are to experience it, and you just you walk around angry, if you're not hurting anybody, not hurting yourself or somebody else, that is fine. You can also sit in a Vipassana, you can be angry, you can be resistant, you can be whatever. But if you have that sacred connection to your divine, when you do this, that's when you enter this thing we call transformation. Or it's a little chewed out word actually. I like alchemy, but alchemy sounds maybe too lofty. So, but anyway, it is a shift of the actual energy, let's say the negative energy, the resistance. When you sit in a Vipassana, you're with this, whatever is going on, you have contact with the body, ground crew. It's like spaceships calling to NASA on the ground. You got me? Yeah, I got you. It's churning here in the stomach. All right. We're connecting now into the sacred platform of our divine. I call it divine because, believe me, that's what it experienced like. If you have an idea about divine or God, if you have an idea about it, then this would be it. This teaching that came from this presence is also a good word. But you see, it needs to be yours. I'm just sharing here. I'm just sharing my own experience. Sometimes when you listen to someone, okay. That's the only reason I'm doing this sharing. Just to help this airplane ride go for a smooth ride into this timeline we are entering now, right? Our planet is in. And I've been talking about this since like 2012. We're going into some rapid change. Well, yes, it's showing now. We can see it in the world and we can see it in each other. And it's producing a lot of good qualities. Have you seen it? People are starting to connect to their heart, to connect to the sacred platform. Because the things that gave them security before, maybe not there. We can't go to a movie theater. I can't go and do this and that. I don't travel the world. What should I do? Well, there's plenty to do. So this is where a new portal of adventure will open up for you. An inner journey can begin. And we just need the tools. We need to know how to fly this plane. So to meet the resistance, you can do when you have, but you learn it, you practice it. I was talking about the egg timer. So every evening I would set the egg timer and I would just contemplate. I would just bring out something that brought some kind of fear to me or resistance or discomfort. some incident. There's lots of those in our days, right? So at night, I would just bring out some, and I would just put the egg timer. I said, I'm going to sit and be with this resistance for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to just cook in that feeling, right? So I just set the alarm, the egg timer, and now I just called with my mind the incident. I remember the incident. Oh, and there it is. It's like, I got really angry with that, and I suppressed it, and I sat with it, and then after some time I got bored with it, and I go, no, but I have to sit with this and cook in the feeling until this egg timer is ringing. So I started doing this every night, and it was up to me how long I wanted to sit and boil in this feeling, right? I'm cooking every night together with my divine, because I always started with, because it was my divine who came with this teaching from inside. There was nobody outside, nobody knocking. I said, hello. It was an inside revelation, and I said, this is the most important thing that ever happened to me. And for the first time in my life, I did not share this with anyone. It's kind of funny, actually, that I'm sitting here 18 years later and sharing it. Because at the time, I kept this process to myself. For about 1.5 years, I had my egg timer, and I sat with the feeling, and I called on my divine, and these two things together created some kind of alchemy in me. That's why sometimes I've been holding these courses called Alchemy in Consciousness, and I go, oh, that sounds so lofty. This is so down to earth. I should call it cook in the feeling. But then people go, what? So what to call this? There is a sacred presence inside each and every one of us, and we have the full freedom to connect to it in our own way. So that's my only message. That's what I want to bring to the world. That's the freedom, my friends. That's the freedom we have. And now, as we are coming into this time in our lives where we see that we are intimately part of each other, then this makes sense to share things that could make it easier on your ride, right? Because you are your own airplane, and you want to have air under your wings. You want to fly like a bird high in the sky and be able to meet the winds of resistance. So practice it. You don't have to buy an egg timer. You can just sit and allow for it. Just being introduced to this concept today could also help you to go, oh, you mean I don't have to get rid of the resistance? No. It's wonderful. It's giving you something. It's giving you life. Why do we like games? People go to football games and hockey games, and now they're all sad because we can't go to these games because there's a lockdown. Well, you have a game going on inside. There's all kinds of conflicts. I want this way, I want that one. Well, enjoy it. You want to be the spectator, or whatever they call them. The one that sits in the audience. Go. It's like a tennis match. That's how I see it sometimes in my consciousness. Ooh. Or like when I find some information coming to me about the world situation. Oh, I like that. I want to hear it. And then here's another information. Oh, I want to take it into the body to see what happened. Oh, there's it. So my life is really enjoyable. I wish this joy for everyone. And as we learn to meditate, we come into a higher intelligence that will teach us, or not teach, we will respond naturally from this presence once we have reflected upon it, contemplated on it in a Vipassana, right? So we're going to start with this Vipassana now, and after the Vipassana, we're having a Supreme Light meditation that will only be here live. On YouTube, we are not recording the Supreme Light. It's only sent live. So if you are seeing this sharing on YouTube, you have to click into the live stream channel on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock Central Europe time. That's the only time you can take part of the live stream Supreme Light meditation. It's a sacred meditation with a mission and vision to awaken that sacred presence inside you. Your sacred connection to your divine, your God inside. However you relate to it, whatever you call it, however that fits in your picture of reality, you are free to experience that in your own way. There is a common denominator, certain qualities that flows through this presence, as we call it sacred, because it has the quality of sacredness. It never hurts another. It never hurts us. It brings love and kindness and compassion, forgiveness. It brings peace and joy. And it brings you into this learning, growing and sharing, this curiosity to explore life and to accept yourself the way you are. You are a creation of this one consciousness, this one field of the divine, the higher, supreme consciousness inside. It's a very highly evolved essence of who we are. We are here to play the game of life, and life is transitioning now. It has been slow starting since 2012, and now we're going into, you know how an airplane takes off? It's ascending. Well, this airplane's turning into a rocket going, because now most people are inside, and we are looking for what to do. We can do this. We can take off into the ascension inside us, because the divine is at the same time descending. Descension means it's coming down into where we're at, and we are ascending, coming up. It's a connection. We are becoming Michelangelo, and there's that painting, meeting each other. This is what's happening now. It's fantastic. But it's an inside job. So for some reason we had to be just locked inside. Close our eyes. I'll be guiding you now. After you will do the Vipassana, you will be hearing some birds singing, and after you hear the birds singing, that is a music coming. Then you open the eyes to be part of the Supreme Light meditation, which is a meditation that flows through the eyes with these qualities of the divine, awakening that or deepening, enhancing that presence in you. You can close your eyes now. And relax the body. Feel like the body is heavy and relaxed. Connect to your feet and relax the feet. Relax the legs. Relax your hips, your pelvic region, your buttocks, relax. Your back and spine, relax. Your stomach, your whole belly, relax. Your chest and shoulders, your arms and hands and fingers, relax. Your neck and throat, relax. Your whole head and your face, relax. See how the breathing is moving in and out by itself. You don't have to change your breathing. Allow the body to breathe the way it wants to breathe. What you're doing right now is called a Vipassana meditation. This is the meditation you can do every day. And as you do this, you allow whatever the body is experiencing, whatever the mind is still carrying from the day or in the now, whatever is happening inside you, allow for that to happen. Now put a focus inside your heart. In the heart region is where we most easily connect to our sacred presence inside. connect with it in your own way the first few minutes. And if you have a prayer, if you have something that you ask your divine for, you can ask now. And you see it as if it's already happening. And always say a gratitude, express a gratitude. Then it will be done.
Purushottam